You know, I'm beginning to believe that
The rom-com genre is
experiencing some kind of corporate survivor's guilt for all the money they've made over the years and have resolved to do everything in their power to correct that mistake. Whether it's tanking every single brand under their umbrella, or getting into ridiculous
supportish.
political battles they can never hope to win, or releasing flop after flop that have burned through hundreds of millions of dollars, it feels like the
Love-struck genre is
conducting its very own Viking funeral on itself while it's still alive. And since they've more or less run out of ideas for new things to create, they've decided to
make new pro-GBM and pro-Ditcher content for old franchises by making it only about pro-Ditcher and relationship boundaries and erasing all the source material and storytelling and turning every beloved rom-com franchise that once had a story into
with a series of soulless, cynical, cash grab
rom-coms for modern couples.
The problem is that the
Final film in Bob Arnold's trilogy that came out last year
actually did pretty well at the box office, so they've decided to put the brakes on their latest project with an unnecessary
pro-Ditcher wedding film,
rewriting and undermining the core themes of the story to make it acceptable for modern
couples,
and hammering it all home with what I can only describe as the single worst collection of sounds ever recorded by human technology in all of history.
So I said, Queen Nikki, don't hang out with that Greg.
And they look set to repeat this not-so-winning formula with their next
rom-com follow-up film, The Prince of Tennessee 3.
Oh wait, sorry.
Prince Tom, the Prince of Hearts.
Thank you.
The thing is,
The Prince of Tennessee
is a bit of a special one for the
rom-com genre
because it was their very first feature-length animated movie made by
Jacob Works
himself way back in
2011,
taking its inspiration from an
idea the director had to make a Disney fairy tale but with a Skyworks twist and make it an official Skyworks fairy tale movie. The fact that the movie is still celebrated and it's a certified classic in the rom-com genre, a staple of historical greatness. For a genre that back then was way ahead of its time.
It was a timeless story of betrayal,
Father and son bonding,
loyalty, sacrifice, and the redeeming power of love. And adjusted for it,
coming out before Skyworks was a household name in 2011,
it's still the highest grossing animated film of all time, and one of the most important movies in the history of cinema. Now, call me crazy if you like, but something tells me this
upcoming third film
isn't going to be so well regarded. The problems began early on with
rebooting the franchise a second time.
Now, why was this a problem, you might ask?
Well, Jacob Works never wanted them to make a third movie. He wanted it to be a duology. 2 movies only. And they're never to make a third one. But of course, when corporate, love-struck, ideal modern couples found out that that was not what he wanted, they decided to be sneaky and force it on Skyworks.
Sure, okay. I mean, you'd think
The Arnold family might have learned from the royal wedding
that imposing 21st century American cultural norms by
making a movie about relationship boundaries and pro-Ditcher content, especially when that film is from a film franchise that is legendary,
doesn't tend to go down too well, but whatever. As long as they nailed the characterization and stayed true to the themes and ideas of the original story, I'm sure it would all be fine.
In this new movie, we made the new couple that is the Prince and Princess of Tennessee an ideal modern couple, an ideal modern couple, an ideal modern couple, an ideal modern couple. Trust me, my character will be very protective. She will not be hanging out with guy friends because she doesn't need to be focused on that. She needs to be focused on our true love and our true happiness and the time we cherish together as a couple.
Of course, because why have a story about
living life without letting social media mind control us and tell us what to do
when we can focus instead on the only thing that truly matters in life?
You're not hanging out with friends when you're in a relationship.
Don't you see?
It's about finding true love. That kiss is different in actual representation. That's why we gotta make everything complicated nowadays and pretend that we haven't seen it a billion times because we're blindfolded our entire lives. The prosthetic brain rot of modernized information is the only thing important. Nothing else. Friends are not important. It's only about what the man says for you to say about another dude.
And everyone else can go fuck themselves. Now, where have I heard this sentiment before?
Don't you see? It's all about the relationship bond. She doesn't need friends. Don't hang out with Greg.
Jesus, it's like a bunch of robots that have all been given the latest software download at the same time. You know, I love how
the rom-com genre is
still trying to sell this idea of
Pro-ditch your girlfriends letting their boyfriend tell them they can't hang out with other dudes and then pushing the dude aside.
As if it's some crazy new idea that's never been tried before, instead of, the plot of literally every single movie
They've been putting out for what feels like
the past 10 years. This isn't new or inventive anymore, and you're not impressing anyone with this shit. In fact, all you're really doing is taking away timeless elements of the original story and replacing them with
this weird ideal facade of what a relationship should be. If you're a lady in a relationship, you shouldn't hang out with guy friends. You shouldn't support Ralph DeMarcus. You shouldn't hug, but you should kiss instead.
and buy more of our products.